Hey guys, it's Dane at ZIMM'S Guitars here in Mesa, Arizona. And I came to the store this morning, and as I was opening up the store, getting ready to start my day, this pile of guitar parts was sitting outside my store at the front door waiting for me. And it's all here. Looks like a Squire. And it's got pickups in here. It's got tuners, a back plate, it's got the trim and the output jack and everything. And all it needs, right? All it needs is a neck, and we've got ourselves a little Squire guitar. So in today's video, I'm going to find a neck that's laying around here in the store, and I'm going to put this whole thing together. So here we go, let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look here at some of these parts. So I will need most of this stuff. So we've got a back plate, and here's our 4 screws for that. And then we got these old tuners. Don't know if I'll be using these. Depends on what neck I have, right? Put the screws back in here. So whoever dropped this off at the front of my store this morning, thank you very much. Alright, so here's the back plate. Here's our bridge assembly, and yeah, it's basic Squire stuff. That's okay. Here's our output cover. We got 3 springs right there. We got the bridge right here. Here's the 2 pieces that I think hold the claw down. Let's see if we got a claw. It does. It's got the claw in there already. That's good. Kind of a messed up guitar body. It's got some dents and scratches on it. Here's a bunch of the screws for the pick guard, and here's 6 screws to hold the trim down. So everything is pretty much here except for a neck. So let me dig through and grab some necks, and let's look at what I've got. Okay, so this first one that I have laying around, made in Mexico, MN7. This is a pretty nice neck, I think. Looks nice and straight. Let's do a little thing here. Let's just test on. Truss rod seems to work nice. But the thing is, sometimes the made in Mexico stuff, it's not going to fit in the pocket nice, so I don't want to use this one. Let me see what we got here. Okay, so this one, some sort of a no-name Fender neck. It's got no markings on it. It looks pretty good. It's got a little scratch right there. Let's see if we got a truss rod. It's going to need a nut on it, so I would have to find a nut that fits on here. Truss rod works good. Let's see if she fits in the pocket good. Move this out of the way. Yeah, it fits in the neck pocket really well. And seeing that it's a no-name guitar brand, it's probably a good one. We don't want to put anything too high-end. This is something that came probably off of out of Amazon or someplace. Bright, natural maple color. I don't know, I just think this one looks better. I think I'm going to go with that one. I have one more though, real quick. You guys are helping me make decisions here. So this one, Squire Korea E9. And it's got tuners on it. 21 fret. Let's take a look and see. This one would be easier because again it's got tuners on it and it has a nut on there and it's got string trees. Let me take a look at this truss rod. Figure out what wrench fits in there. 80s Korea. An E9. Is it an 89 Korean? There we go. Okay. Truss rod works. Okay, let's just see if it fits nicely in the neck pocket. It's kind of tall. It's sitting in there kind of tall. Sometimes necks are thicker this direction and they don't always set in the pocket nice. Let me see how this is going to look. Just going to kind of hold it up here and see if that lines up. As far as the thickness of the bridge and everything, you know, that's... I don't know, I kind of think that, here's what I'm thinking out loud, that this thickness right here, too much. So I think we need a thinner one. Let's double check here. Is that the same? That is the same. I'm going to put a screw in the trim. Just to hold that thing in place. Okay. Just to hold that in place. Now let me take a look down it. I think that should be okay. Let's do this. Let's see if the screws go in and if it holds the neck in, if it's been drilled out properly or close enough. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that seems to be okay. Might have to lift the saddles. And I think I also see, because I'm just kind of looking. What if I put a straight edge across here? Well, I've got a, right? I don't know if that's going to actually work. I don't know. I think all these necks are too thick right here. They're too wide. They don't go down in the pocket. Like this pocket hasn't been drilled down far enough. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I installed that Korea bridge that is right here. And it feels like it went in the pocket really nicely. So I'm just going to try to make sure. I might have to raise these saddles a lot, maybe lower them. Let's just see what happens here. We'll keep assembling this thing. And at this point, all we can do is kind of just hope for the best. Put this squire together. Let's see what happens here. Alright guys, so I've been doing some soldering, and I've got the output jack soldered up now, and I've got it hooked in to the ground, and everything is grounded. So I think I can kind of just lay this stuff in here and test on this and see if we have it wired right. Let's see what happens here. Always take a wrench to tap on them. It's good. Alright, so let's just screw this back down on here, and we will continue on putting our little squire parts caster together. Fun stuff, right? How many of these screw holes are going to align? It's starting to look like hardly any of them are. Okay, I'm going to change this one because the screw head looks smaller. We want them to all be consistent. So I got a couple here that are smaller. Let me get those out of the way. Okay, none of the screw holes line up very good. So we're just going to drill a couple new ones. The drill's going, stop, please stop. Okay. Try to get most of that dust to fall in my trash can over there. You know what? This is the kind of guitar that you can just use your Phillips bit for. There we go. Let's see what happens now. Trying to make sure that they go in and they lay flat on the top. Keep them from going in at an angle. Good. Okay. Did I ruin that guitar? You guys let me know. Am I ruining this thing by screwing other holes in it? Or is it just a $99 Squire? And it's better to just put it together with what you got than to just let it lay around in random parts. That again, were donated to me. So whoever left this body and these parts here, thank you very much for that. I hope you watch this video and feel good about the fact that I put a guitar together out of your old parts. Hoping I'm making you happy. Okay. Here we go. Get some of this out of here. Some of that plastic. Alright, let's put this down. Okay. This right here is my most loved screwdriver that I have. I think it's an old Stanley, but this is the one that I use most of the time on stuff. This thing was a gift from my buddy Neil. Doesn't work so great. This is a really nice, what's it say on there? Cobalt. And but it's got kind of a big head on it, but it does work on a lot of stuff. So this is a close runner-up. But for some reason, this thing right here is my favorite. It's got a nice little dent right there that's unfortunate. Wait, hold on. Let me back this one. These all have to be tight enough to hold it down, but not too tight that it keeps it from moving. Up and down like that. Oops, see right there, it got too tight. Come on now. Okay. Let's throw the springs on in the back here. Nice. Oh, get on there, baby. There we go. Okay, let's get this ground wire out of my way. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately it's got a lot of little scars and nicks around the bottom. The top looks pretty good though. Oh, now that I have it all screwed together, we should test the electronics one more time. Yeah, so now that it's all screwed down on there, fortunately, it still works, because there's been a couple of times where you're working on Fender stuff, it's working, you put the lid back down, or you put the pick guard back down, and it stops working on you. So I think what's next here is I'm just going to clean the bench up a little bit, and then we're going to work on the fingerboard, clean the fingerboard, take a look at these frets, and then we'll be able to put strings on it and see if it plays. Okay, so now I've got my fingerboard guard, and I'm just going to lay it right here. And I got some 1000 grit sandpaper that I folded over a couple of times. And I just kind of run it over these frets to shine them up a little bit. This is not to level or crown them, it doesn't do anything of that. Although it does get rid of some minor imperfections and little string scratches and things like that. But mostly it's getting the dirt off of these frets. This guitar has real small, narrow frets. In 1989, when this neck was manufactured, people wasn't really thinking about jumbo frets on their guitars. It wasn't really a thing yet. Some guys were getting there, but it wasn't really a thing yet where every guitar needed big jumbo frets on it. Okay, so now we got a little bit of Music Nomad F1 oil that's going on the fingerboard, and I'm just going to kind of put a lot on it. It cleans, it hydrates, it conditions. Spread it on here and let it soak in. Don't wipe it off yet, just let it kind of soak in. Some guys will use a sponge, and they'll keep their sponge in a little container, and they keep all this on the sponge. And but I don't know, I kind of feel like that's just taking the dirt from one guitar, spreading it onto the next guitar, and then on and on and on. So I prefer to use a little paper towel, and I spread it on there, and then you can see that it, and then a lot of times I even will take my scissors and I'll just cut this part of it off there, right into the trash. And then I'll kind of hit it some more here. The best thing that I can do in a used guitar shop is to make my fingerboard look nice and fresh and nice and clean. And that goes for the body too. But there's only so much you can do to a body that has a bunch of scrapes and scratches in it already. And luckily, you know, relic guitars and guitars that have a couple, it's got some mojo to it. So luckily that is a thing right now. There's guys out selling cars that are covered in patina, and they love how that looks. So luckily I can still flip some guitars that have a bunch of dents in them and a bunch of scratches. But this guitar here, this is just a beginner's guitar. And when I saw this guitar setting outside my store this morning, where one of my regular customers, you know, I don't open until 11 o'clock. So one of my regular customers came through and obviously dropped this thing off before I came into the store today. And it was kind of a risky move, but it was still here when I got here. And so, again, a lot of you guys do donate your old parts and different things like that, and I really appreciate it. Because not only is it video content, but I have so many parts laying around that, you know, I can put something together. And so I think we're ready for strings, so go ahead and roll the string jingle. Today's string choice. Today's string choice, Fender Original 150s, pure nickel wound ball and 9 through 42, 9-gauge Fender strings. I've got a lot of these Fender strings on hand. I did have a comment last week and somebody said, why are you not using Ernie Ball strings anymore? Basically, here's why. Ernie Ball strings sell really, really well. The average guy buys Ernie Ball strings over every other brand. Fender strings, They don't sell so good. I'm just saying. They're great strings. Are they great strings? They are great strings. Do people ask? Do people come in my store and ask for Fender strings? No, they do not. Do they ask for Ernie Ball Super Slinkies? And yes, all the time. So sometimes, I have my Fender rep. He bought a guitar from me, and he owed me some money. And I don't know if I should even say anything, but he owed me some money because he bought a guitar from me. And he goes, okay, man, how do you want this? I said, you know what? Instead of sending me money, just shoot me a whole bunch of, buy me a bunch of strings and some stands and, you know, a few things like that. Pay me back in brand new merchandise that I can sell. And he said, okay, man, that's no problem. So that's why I ended up with a couple good cases of Fender strings. And so for my kind of stuff in these videos, I have absolutely no problem whatsoever putting real Fender strings on some of these guitars. Now last week I did a video about a Gibson SG, and some guy commented. I'm getting a lot of comments, and thank you guys so much for all the comments. But I had a comment that says, how dare you put Fender strings on a Gibson? Okay, so I thought that was kind of crazy. Alright, so I'm going to have to really raise the saddle here. Because I'm having that situation where I think this body, whatever it is, wasn't, the neck pocket wasn't cut deep enough. So I'm going to raise these saddles. This might be challenging. This guitar might not work. And if it doesn't work, I probably won't even put the video out. So if you're watching this video, I think I was able to do it. But I think I'm going to have to really raise these saddles. Wow. I don't know about this one. This isn't good. No bueno. Loosen the truss rod. Raise the saddles a lot. Cut this off so I don't poke my eye out with this thing. It should be okay. I just gotta really raise these saddles. But again, some guitars, some of these Squiers, they're just different. And I don't think I really honestly have the perfect neck laying around that fits in here. The pocket in this body is not cut deep enough. So we're just going to keep trying here. These saddles are going to have to go up a lot. Or I'm going to have to take the guitar and put all these parts on a different body. Or, I mean, if I had some sort of a router and a guide, I could probably figure out how to get that pocket cut a little bit deeper, but that's a lot of work for an inexpensive guitar. Okay, moving on to my D string. And that could possibly be one reason that this body was donated because whoever owned this might be having the same challenge that I'm having right now. And honestly, if it was just an eighth of an inch, if that pocket was just cut an eighth of an inch deeper, it would probably be perfect. That is one thing that I don't do here at my stores. I've never really messed around with a router. I'm a restring guy. You guys probably know that if you've watched. I am a restring guy because I have a guitar shop where I flip guitars. I flip used guitars. I don't sell new guitars. I only have used guitars. And I have a big inventory of used guitars. And I'm really not competing with any of the big stores, the Guitar Centers or the Sweetwaters or anything, because I am only flipping used guitars. And so I'm not competing with the big box stores. I've got my own thing going on here, flipping used guitars. And it's kind of the old school approach to the guitar shop. It's the old, like, you know, you guys back in the day, you would go to guitar shops and it'd be ma and pa shops, and they would just do whatever they can do to get inventory in there. And they'd have a lot of used stuff, and even vintage stuff wasn't even a word for a guitar until about the 1990s. There wasn't even vintage. The word vintage wasn't even thought up yet. But we were kind of the old-fashioned style of guitar shop. We're not a music store. We're a guitar shop. And there used to be a lot of us. There used to be a lot of small guitar shops. And there's not so many anymore. And I don't think, honestly, I've had tons of luck, and I have had a great time running my store. But there's a lot of guitar shops that have gone away. They have gone by the wayside. And it's just because the old guy that was running those stores, that was in love with guitars, and, you know, they've passed away. I hate to say it, but the old guys that used to run your favorite guitar shop, they retired, or they passed away. And for some reason, the younger generation wants to do everything online, and it's kind of killed the old I own a guitar shop routine. But I am, you know, I am getting up there in age myself. I'm not in my 30s, I will say that. I wish I was, but I'm not. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, we're gonna have some issues here. We definitely got some issues. The neck is not laying in the pocket perfectly, so if I bring you in here, you can see the distance that we have here on our low string, and you can see our high string is hanging over the edge. So I got to get this neck back this direction. I have to get this neck back this direction some. So let's see if I can do that. Let's loosen these babies up a little bit. And I'm going to lift this neck back up out of the pocket. And I hope you guys hang out and watch the rest of this video. I know it's starting to get long now, but let's see if we can straighten up this guitar. I'm gonna run a file along this edge right here, because we just need a little bit. Just a little will help. Messing with Squires today, not a big deal. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. Not a big deal. Okay. Got the strings on it. Let's take a look at our neck now. As far as how much relief is in the neck. So I've got my Homeland long scale, short scales on this side, but this is my notch straight edge. Set it on here, and you try to see how much light is behind this thing, underneath it, because this is nice and straight. So because I loosened that truss rod, now I'm going to tighten it back up and try to get it flatter, because there's a lot of relief in this neck. Okay, there it's starting to grab and grip. Okay, let's see what it's doing right there. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good right there. A little bit of relief. Okay, let me stretch on the strings a little bit and then double check the tuning. Left hand is to protect the nut. There we go, stretch them out. Okay, and then let's tune it one more time here. We're going E standard. Okay, so my bridge is starting to lift a little bit. So let me tighten these springs a little bit. It's going to help its tuning stability. And the one part that I am missing on this guitar is the, okay, come on, there you go. It is the bar. I don't have the whammy bar, so there we go. Tighten that baby down some. Now let's check this tuning again. Of course, everything is sharp now. So it up here and let's just play it and see what happens. Let me go ahead and take a look at these saddles again. Just gonna eyeball these things. So it looks to me like my high E string is kind of setting up high, so I think I can bring it down a little bit. Spending a half an hour on a Squire, I mean, what the heck, right? I've done a lot dumber things in my life. Just trying to get the action nice on it now. There's professionals that play Squire stuff, believe it or not. There's to come once in a while. If you have a good setup on your Squire and guys just, you know, you feel comfortable playing a Squire if it's your guitar that you've had forever. Guys will take them out and play gigs with them. But most of the time, if you take a Squire to play a gig, it's all the people in the audience after the show that are going, dude, why are you playing a cheap Squire? And so you end up not wanting to play a Squire. But they are, in a lot of cases, they are professional grade. You can get away with playing a Squire. I think it was, what was the guy, Mike Rutherford, right? Genesis? It's not bad. It's really, honestly, not a bad playing guitar. Okay. I'll plug it into an amp. Here we go. Let's see what it sounds like.